The redistricting battle keeps heating up. Texas Democrats, once fleeing the Lone Star State to block a vote, are weighing plans on how to return home, per multiple reports. But Greg Abbott is ready to call another special session to redraw the maps and could possibly add more to the agenda. The Texas State Senate already passing the newly drawn maps that could give Republicans 5 more seats in the Lone Star State.
And as this redistricting battle goes national, California Governor Gavin Newsom saying his state will redraw their map. In a tweet bluntly mocking the president, Newsom's press office saying President Taco, Trump always chickens out, that's what that stands for, Trump missed the deadline to end the Texas redistricting, calling the president a chicken. And now California will redraw their lines to make them more beautiful. Earlier this week, Newsom sent Trump a letter urging him to stop Republican-led states from mid-decade redistricting, adding California can neutralize any gains made by Republicans' redrawn maps. I'm sorry, the taco thing is just so...
You're really amused by that.
I don't know, that's like a really good one. I think Gavin Newsom has been on a roll. I mean, he didn't make up the taco. Trump always chickens out, and the only reason why it's so funny to me...
You finding this funny is funny to me, but...
Because Trump got so mad about it. I remember in the Oval Office, someone had... Sorry.
Oh.
Someone asked him about being a taco, and he just like went off. He couldn't focus on anything else. So I'm like, this is the thing. People say stuff about you every day. I've compared you to the worst of humans of all time. And
there
taco,
was anything in my life to bring me as much joy.
Taco is the one. Because I actually am very happy. I feel proud that the Democrats are actually doing something. I think for so long people have been like, do something, and Gavin Newsom is matching President Trump's energy and saying, if you want to do nonsense and redistrict based on, not off of the census, which we know has been incorrect in the past, but also mostly incorrect in the not favoring
incorrect
people.
In that it counts millions of illegal immigrants.
Incorrect in that it overcounts people who are not of color and undercounts people of color, mostly because people of color didn't participate during the pandemic because they just didn't have time or resources and didn't want to.
Wait, it undercounts people of color? What now?
In 2020, people of color were undercounted severely because they didn't they didn't follow the census. They didn't fill it out. They didn't go through the form that they send to your house. Like, you're asking people during an international pandemic to fill out a form. Some people had the luxury of time. Others didn't.
This is the mainstream institution in which you don't believe.
I'm just telling you what happened. I'm telling you what happened. It's actually documented. And they've said they've made mistakes, but I'm just telling you, when Texas grows by 95% in people of color, like that's the most growth happened with communities of color, and the maps are not redistricted to represent them in any way.
I'm not arguing with you.
The people that are most affected are not the Republicans throughout Texas that
government did it wrong.
They did it wrong.
Is something I am always willing to believe. Okay, that's fine. To my earlier point, though, a problem conservatives point out with the census is that states that have a ginormous amount of illegal immigrants are, because they're being counted, so they have higher, like California, it's a higher population and then gets more relative weight in our electoral college system and thus have an incentive to permit tons of illegal immigration.
But you know that President Trump has pushed this issue to the Supreme Court before. He's asked them if we can, or illegal immigrants can check that box on the census, and at least the American public can just know, right? No, this has happened in the past, and the Supreme Court said, no, we're not putting that on the census, because the census' actual job is to count the number of people in the country, illegal or not. They're trying to figure out who's here. So that's the point. So if it happened once, he can push it back to the Supreme Court, but he can get the same response. So we might as well move forward and figure out a new solution that actually makes sure that the people here are first.
Figured it out. It's deporting all the illegal immigrants.
Okay, well, when you get to that goal of every single person that came here, how you guys called the wrong way, then
but see, I would compromise and say they don't have to all go. They just don't count to give more political power to Democrats in California.
And in the meantime, they're just going to redistrict their way to a map that favors them and politicize.
Well, both sides are trying to redistrict to have a map that favors.
Well, Gavin Newsom is responding.
Yeah, he said, "All right, you do that, then I'm going to gerrymander California even more aggressively and add more states." That's fine. That's a perfectly. I'm not complaining about it. It's different to move. Yeah, Gavin Newsom's doing something. He's got something going. That's fine.
And there's also trouble brewing on college campuses. Are the Trump administration university ultimatums truly a battle against bigotry or an attempt at control? I'm going to talk about that next in My Lens.